So investigations into Zanzou nightclub and their operations continue. As follows the release, you might have seen of those graphic videos showing patrons being tortured allegedly for not paying their bills. The shocking footage has sparked public outrage and led to a quick response from a number of officials. The Gauteng Liquor Board has now suspended the nightclub's liquor license, we're told, further revealing that the business wasn't even operating, in fact was operating illegally. Concerns are now growing about enforcement of laws and the protection of consumers' rights. For more on this, let's bring in Mbongeni Shabangu. He's the Director for Compliance and Enforcement at the Gauteng Liquor Board and joins us now via our video link. Great to have you on the program, sir. Thanks very much indeed for making time. Can I just confirm those news around the suspension of this particular establishment's operating license, or their liquor license to be more specific? And perhaps you can get us a sense of what underpinned that decision.
Good day, Mr. Nyati, and good day to the viewers. Yes, we can confirm that the Gauteng Liquor Board took a resolution to suspend the license of the outlet, actually, Zanzou nightclub, which is located in Hatfield. The reason for that is, if we may just point to this, the issuing of licenses are mainly to enable businesses who meet the requirements and comply with the law to conduct legitimate business so people could earn a living, job creation, and link to that the economic development as well as the raising of revenue. The Act of the Gauteng Liquor Act, Section 29, subsection 1, stipulates that the granting of a license grants the license holder, that is the owner of the premises or the person who has a license, such rights and privileges as well as obligations. That means that as the licensee, you are required and expected by law to comply with not just the Gauteng Liquor Act or the license conditions, but all laws in the Republic, including the Constitution, as well as the municipal bylaws and regulations. In this regard, whilst Zanzou is licensed to trade in liquor, they were found in terms of the clips or video clips that were shared through various media platforms to have violated the rights of certain individuals. Whilst that could be viewed as allegations, the owners of the premises in this regard had issued a statement wherein they were not refuting or denying those claims, but instead blamed actually an official who took those videos for trying to extort them. So on the strength of the videos that were there and information obtained from the SAPS and information that the SAPS is conducting an investigation as was pursuing the license holders in this regard, the Gauteng Liquor Board deemed it fit and appropriate to suspend the license in this regard.
As you mentioned, the veracity of those videos doesn't seem to be contested. And so I suppose the question that emerges is why the board decided to go for a suspension and not for revoking this license altogether.
To start with, just briefly on the issue, why suspend the license in this regard? The Act requires the Gauteng Liquor Board to grant licenses, including the issuing of renewals, where doing so is in the public interest. So if a business engaging in any conduct or type of business which is in contravention of any law in the Republic, the Liquor Board as a regulatory authority has a responsibility to enter the fray and seek to find a solution. Why the license was suspended and not revoked is because as things stand, we have not had further engagements with the license holders, and we are in contact with the subsequent police service and the local station in this regard, who are conducting an investigation. So what we are doing is to put in measures to try and exercise some level of control, hold the licensees accountable whilst we are conducting our own further investigations, as well as allowing SAPS, who we are cooperating with, to conduct their investigations and reach a conclusion, which will then advise whether to revoke the license permanently or to take any other recourse permitted in terms of legislation.
This is a learning moment, I suppose, for the public as well, and that's the spirit in which I ask my next question. Under what conditions would it be clear for the board that, in fact, this license, or any license, frankly, needs to be revoked and not just suspended?
The first condition is if the licensees were to be found guilty by the court of law following the investigations by the South African police. Secondly, if the relevant municipality, which is the city of Tshwane in this regard, were to come forward with evidence which points to the outlet not having the necessary permission from the municipal authority to trade in liquor, as well as sufficient evidence on the gross violation of human rights in this regard, we've learned that the victims have opened cases with the police. So that also becomes a part of what then gets considered by the Gauteng Liquor Board as evidence and substantial grounds which compels the Gauteng Liquor Board to revoke the license.
All right, fair enough. This moment has also, of course, raised all manner of questions about how we could be a whole lot more proactive in uncovering the kind of allegations that are being made against this nightclub. What proactive steps does the board take, to make sure that the people who have these kind of licenses are operating within the bounds of your own act, but also within the bounds of the Constitution, as you've mentioned? Because I shudder at the thought, for example, of whether or not we'd ever be here without these videos going public.
True that, Mr. Nyati. Firstly, we would want to emphasize the point that the public out there, including the media houses, do serve a purpose that they become the eyes and ears of any government entity. Because at times, these heinous incidents or conduct, they happen actually, when for some strange reason, you find that officials are not there to witness that. However, looking at the function of the Gauteng Liquor Board, Section 109 of the Gauteng Liquor Board empowers the institution to conduct your regular compliance monitoring, which is through the visitation of liquor outlets. Annually, we have a target, as things stand now, as the Gauteng Provincial Government and Liquor Board, to conduct inspections at not less than 26,000 liquor outlets per annum. What we then do is we conduct surprise visits or your regular spot checks by sending our inspectors who go out and firstly establish whether the license or rather the outlet is trading with a valid liquor license. Secondly, what is the type of license and whether the premises are complying with the license conditions. One critical factor that we need to consider and we look into is who is trading. There is a tendency on what we've observed, not just in Gauteng, where licenses exchange hands illegally. That is an offense in terms of Section 39.3. So people cannot just willy-nilly exchange, rent or lease out liquor outlets. So in this regard, as indicated, we conduct regular spot checks at liquor outlet. Coming to this outlet that we are dealing with, I checked our records and with our members. The last inspection was conducted on the 23rd of April 2024. The premises were visited, and at the time there was nothing untoward or anything that would lead us to suspect that there was anything wrong.
All right. Mbongeni Shabangu, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. We'll certainly keep a very close eye on the story as it continues to unfold, but we appreciate your speaking to us as things stand. Mr. Shabangu is the Director for Compliance and Enforcement with the Gauteng Liquor Board. Thanks very much indeed.